Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining us today on this February. It's a cold day in Florida. I know most of the country is freezing right now, so let's try to heat you up with this awesome recipe. We're going overseas again, Thailand. This is a hot and sour soup. It is called Yum Goong. If you've ever been to a Thai restaurant and had their spicy soup, this is it. It's going to be fantastic. Can't wait to share it with you. It's coming up in the Instapot next. Okay, we're going to do this in two stages. First, we're actually going to make the broth, and then we are going to add the shrimp and a few other ingredients. So to start out with the broth, you can use water if you'd like. I'm going to use 4 cups of chicken stock. You can also use shrimp stock if you, want to boil the heads and the shells of shrimp and make yourself some shrimp sauce. You're more than welcome to do that. I am going to make this as easy as possible for us. I've got 32 ounces of just chicken, unsalted chicken stock. Now, as Yum Goong goes, the tom is boiling, so we're going to get this up to a boil, obviously with pressure. The yam or yum, it's pretty much derived to yum now, so you'll see tom yum at a restaurant. That means mix, so it's going to mix the hot and sour flavors, or possibly also meaning mixing all of the different ingredients. I've read it differently in a few different places. And then finally, goong is prawns, so we're going to add prawns, shrimp in this awesome dish. I'm going to cut a few corners because I couldn't get all of the ingredients, unfortunately. Here in Orlando, I tried to get what's called Kiffir Leaves, which are lime leaves. I could not find those anywhere. But if you can find them, please put a handful of Kiffir Leaves inside of your broth. I've got 2 stalks of lemongrass that we're going to add. We'll be taking those out. You will not be eating those. If you look here, briefly, you want to mash them, get the flavors out of them, and take off the outer skin before you put them in. Next up, I did a full yellow onion we're going to add. It really renders down pretty nicely, and it's nice to have those onions inside of this broth. I'm also going to add stewed tomatoes. The standard Yum Goong that you'll get at a Thai restaurant will have Roma tomatoes, but I thought this would just be a little bit easier for the purpose of making this dish today. Also, I have straw mushrooms. You can put in any kind of mushrooms that you like. These hold up pretty well. You can buy these at an Asian store. They're called straw mushrooms. And I'm just putting a can. They're like little umbrellas. These are so tasty. We're also going to add some oyster mushrooms at the end, but they're a lot more tender and we don't want them to break apart, so we're not going to cook them and pressurize them. We're going to add those up at the end. Here I have 5 cloves of garlic. We are also going to add at this point the tom yum paste, and this is kind of the shortcut. I've got about 4 tablespoons of the tom yum paste. You can buy this at an Asian store as well. This has lemongrass in it. It has another ingredient that's very similar to ginger, but it tastes a lot different. It's called galangal. That's another ingredient that was very difficult to find in Orlando. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find the galangal, but it is inside of this paste. It also has Thai chili peppers to kick it up a notch and to get some spice into this dish. We can always add spice at the end. If you'd like to add some Thai chilies, some people like to grow Thai chilies in their garden, throw some Thai chilies in there. If it's not spicy enough for me, I always add a little chili paste as well at the end. But this is one of those dishes you're always going to be tasting to get it right at the end, and you can add some chili paste, or you can add some chili powder if you'd like, but I prefer the chili paste or the garlic chili paste that I like to use. So folks, that's it. That is going to be our Yum Goong broth, and we are going to lock this up. We're going to turn on the pressure cook function. And I'm very fortunate that I have a soup button. So we click it on soup, it goes for 6 minutes. I hit the start button and it's that simple. We're gonna go for 6 minutes. Hopefully it won't take less than 5 minutes to get up to pressure. Now our cocktail of the day pairs perfectly with this hot and spicy soup. It is a mango white claw hard seltzer. I'm not a big carbonation guy, you know, I usually will only drink my carbonation with Fresca, but I found that out on the golf course when it's hot, this only has 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, 2 carbs. It's super easy to drink. It's got a nice little kick to it. It's a little can of antifreeze. We're gonna pour that just over some ice. It is a little chilly here in Florida, but this is very refreshing and it complements this hot soup so nicely. It is a mango white claw hard seltzer. Give it a try. The cooking process has finished up. It took probably around 10 minutes to get up to pressure. We cooked it for 6 minutes and then I did a natural release for 10 minutes. So I let it go for 10 minutes and then I did a quick release. If all of the pressure does not come out within that 10 minutes, do a quick release, let all of the steam out and then open it up. So you only need to let it sit for 10 minutes after the cooking process is done. Now we will add the tiger prawns that I bought at an Asian store right down the street where I picked up some of my other ingredients. We're gonna add some oyster mushrooms as well and really make this Thai soup as authentic as possible. I used to live in San Francisco and we would go to any Thai restaurant in the neighborhood and there were tons of Thai restaurants. I mean, you've heard about the food and the restaurants in the San Francisco Bay Area. They are fantastic. They're wonderful. And when we went to a Thai restaurant, first thing we would order would be Tom Yum Goong. If the Tom Yum Goong did not meet our standards, it didn't matter what the rest of the meal tasted like. We would not return to that restaurant because if their Tom Yum Goong was good, it was now on our list of great Thai restaurants to visit in San Francisco. So let's open this up. We'll put the prawns in, a few of the other ingredients, give it a taste and see if it hits all the spicy, the sour, all of the flavors that we are looking for a traditional Thai Tom Yum Goong. Remember safety, folks. Always use a towel or a mitt to open up the lid. Ooh, little steam on. Ooh, that looks so good. Now, I left this on warm. We put this on warm. It'll be plenty hot enough to cook the prawns. So I have a pound of tiger prawns. We're gonna put those in first and drop those right to the bottom. Get those cooking. They won't take very long. Oh, look at that. They're already starting to turn pink. That does not take long. Traditional Tom Yum Goong, you will see the heads on the shrimp. You can leave the heads on if you want. I took the shells off and the heads, but I did leave the tails on. So look at that. They're already turning pink. So we'll drop that in there. Fish sauce adds a little salty umami flavor, which is savory. You've probably heard that term before. This I would like to put about 2 tablespoons there. So we got 2 tablespoons of fish sauce. My Himalayan pink salt. Always like to put a few grinds of that in. I've got the juice of 4 limes. That's key to get that lime flavor in there. We don't have the Kiffir leaves, which are the lime leaves, unfortunately. I'm going to mix that up a little bit. Oh, it's looking so good. Wow, that looks good. Next up, I love mushrooms. You know, I just did a mushroom soup. our oyster mushrooms. And you can get these at most grocery stores. I did get this at the Asian store, and I just chopped them up a little bit. These will get soft really quickly. The consistency will get really soft, and it really adds to this soup, makes it nice and hearty. We'll just mix that up. You can see some of those tomatoes, the shrimp coming to the top. So you'll have the onions as well. You can see it's really a nice hearty soup. Oh, I can smell it already. It feels like I'm at a Thai restaurant. Oh, it smells so good. So we'll mix that up just a little bit, and those will start to soften. And normally they'll add, the Thais will add just a little bit of cane sugar or regular sugar. As you know, being a New Englander, listen, the Thais would call me an idiot for doing this. I'm throwing a little maple syrup in just to balance it out with a tiny bit of sweetness. Yes, I would not be looked upon favorably, but hey, I'm a New Englander at heart. Any opportunity to mix it up and throw a little maple syrup in there, you know I'm going to do that. So you can see that soup is really starting to come together with those mushrooms. Look, let me pull out one of those tiger prawns. Oh, perfectly cooked already. I mean, maybe just another minute. We will mix that up. But like I said, this is on warm right now. Soup is plenty hot enough. Those mushrooms are already starting to get soft. Like I said, chop them up just a little bit and get them to the consistency that you prefer. So at this point, but I want to give it a little taste and just see where we're at flavor-wise. Oh, wow. I might as well be in a Thai restaurant. That is as close as you're going to get with the version that I just made today. It's going to, as you can see, super easy to make. We just made Tom Yum Goong. It is tasty, it is spicy, it's sour, it's got a great balance. That broth, it's all about the broth. We've got the prawns, I can't wait to go in there. Let's spoon some into this bowl and enjoy some Tom Yum soup. Ooh, look at those prawns. Woo-wee. And put a little lime on the side, squeeze it in there. Very important to add cilantro on the top. So there you have it, folks. Thai hot and sour soup, Thai Tom Yum Goong. Let's grab one of these shrimp. See how they turned out. Ooh. Just grab it by the tail. That's why I leave the tails on. Perfect. Well, another great meal today, folks. I hope you enjoyed heading over to Southeast Asia for some Tom Yum Goong. I hope this warms you up. Try it out. It's cold this winter. There's a lot of snow out there right now. This will heat up your body and you'll really enjoy it. And folks, look out for one another. Take care of each other. And as always, if you ain't cooking under pressure, you ain't cooking. We'll see you in the next video.